Are we live? Oh no, I had to press the button. There we go. Did you push the stop button? No, did you? No. I think we're live now. Yeah, we're live. I'm gonna shout around. Shout around. Nick Aldis. Hello, people. Talking about Fastlane. There we go. La 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 la. Yes. And I have done the required, necessary plugging. And I go. Hello? Yes, there was a lot of cars, wasn't there? A lot of zooming. Vroom vroom. The first thing I want to say about this pay-per-view is every time they cut to a replay, it made the woo sound. Yeah. Yeah. Very oddly placed. Anyway, so yeah, this is the WWE Premium Live event, Fastlane 2023. Yeah. Where the hell do I start? I'm kind of lost, actually. Been caught off guard. So, much like Payback last month, this is a pretty bog standard pay-per-view when it comes to importance. Yeah, this was a very, very, very not. It only happened, what, like 5 days ago, 6 days ago? Yeah, this felt very filler. But now I made one request to them. I said, please do something with a stage. They did not do something with the staging, like the actual screen. I was gonna say that they put 2 cars there. Yeah. They didn't make the Tron like a big racetrack or something. No, they just put 2 cars on the stage. I miss bloody. One of my favorite stages was WCW Halloween Havoc. They would do like a giant pumpkin and a big, spooky walkway and everything. I love that stuff. I don't even think they do that for NXT Halloween Havoc. Not that I know of. Well, towards the end of Black and Gold, they did In Your House, and they actually put the In Your House set on there, and that was quite fun. I remember there was that fatal 5-way match, and Karrion Kross went through the house door. Yeah. But yeah, this was Fastlane. I went into this with very lukewarm expectations. I will say there were things that surprised me about this show. Uh-huh. Let's talk about, firstly, the score in terms of our prediction. So last time it was AEW Wrestle Dream, where I won by half a point. It was damn close. This time, I got 4 points, you got 1 point. Yeah, the Androzanis and the Genesis has really messed you up this time. Massively. Hmm. So yes, I'm still the reigning champion and have been since SummerSlam. Well, you've got 3 pay-per-views next month to make up for it. Bloody Crown Jewel, Full Gear, and Survivor Series. God. Yeah, but so yeah, God, I should we just get into the show? No, I didn't. Oh yeah, no, I remember. Yeah, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, no, I did see that. So it seemed. Do I assume that he's actually the one that's drifting it? Is that what's happening? Yeah, because it's in the US it's left-hand drive, I believe, and so he'd be coming out the left side of the car. So he just knows how to drift. I mean, I guess the only way it would work is if it was a 3-seater. The driver was in the center, and he was sitting in the back of the car, and he stepped around him. That does seem. Hmm. I don't know what to make of that, but it was certainly something. Yeah. Yeah, so we had the Undisputed Tag Team Championship match between the Judgment Day of Finn Balor and Damian Priest, who just won the belts at the last pay-per-view, which was Payback, against Cody Rhodes and Main Event, Jey Uso, as they like to call him. That's his nickname, apparently. I mean, he's been Main Event Jey Uso since 2020, but it wasn't like official until recent. It's actually like branding now. Yeah, that's true. Well, the thing is that Main Event Jey Uso is actually correct. Yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about the quote unquote greatest of all time later. Um, we had Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso in a very odd tag team that I do think that the comedy between these two, especially in the press conference, was really. Yep, it was chaos. And the funny thing is that Jay's, he has a certain, I wouldn't say thug energy because he's not. He's a lot more friendly than that, but he has a sort of a sort of energy to him. And when Cody Rhodes tries to replicate it, he comes across like a massive boomer. Because well, Jay, yeah, that's good. That's because Jay Uso speaks in so much street slang. You feel me, right? And then Rose, Cody Rhodes, Cody Rhodes speaks like a politician. It's like a white politician. Yeah. But yeah, we had this match. Oh yeah, it went 20 minutes. 20-minute tag team match. Yeah, this definitely felt like an episode of Saturday Night Raw, didn't it? Yeah, JD McDonough got involved and it still didn't lead to the win. Yeah. Yeah. Rhea Ripley hit him with the briefcase and he still kicked out, and I imagine Jim Cornette squeal in his chair. Yes. Yeah, that was good. I think when that happened with Rhea Ripley and Jey Uso, I think all of Twitter said, if this happened to me, I would fall. I would like fall onto my leg. I'd fold onto the floor. Absolute simps. Yeah, and also Cody Rhodes did a crossroads on the announce table, and it looked like it would hurt his shoulder blades for sure. Because he went right on the edge. But yeah, no, this was I don't know who did think that. Especially because firstly because Cody and Jay are such a strange team, and also on top of that, the Judgment Day literally just won the belts at the last show. They just won them. It almost makes me think they're just transitional champions to get them off KO and Sammy. Mm. Yeah. What if what if Dwayne comes back though? Yeah, probably because also the strikes are about to be over, aren't they? Oh, yeah, I know, because they should have had Cody win the belt at 39, and then they could have done Roman Rock at 40 without the belt. Ridiculous. It's just, I still, it's gonna take until he actually wins the belt for us to get over there, isn't it? Uh, Yeah, yeah. They wanted to do the dusty finish so badly, but it just wasn't the right time. Uh Bloody hell. Anyway, so yeah, this match was fine, but I think it was all worth it for the press conference after. Yeah. That's one of the best things about watching WWE pay-per-views is I get to see Cody Rhodes on a press conference after just absolutely do his own thing and not follow any of the rules. Remember when the amount of times Byron Saxton said, "Oh, we're just this is the last question." They're like, "No, it's not. We're gonna have one more for me and one more for him." Yeah. And then when Triple H came out at the end, he's just like, well, it seems like everyone's chewed up all of my time. Yeah. One thing I did notice about this pay-per-view, and probably might send a signal that it is such a minor show, is that this had a very low amount of product placement. It was very, very small compared to other shows. Hmm. Although I will say there was that really cringy Pizza Hut thing with Xavier Woods, Wade Barrett, and Booker T. Mm. That was quite agonizing to watch. I won't lie. Yeah, I don't. It depends what you compare it to in New Zealand. I it's uh, Domino's and Pizza Hut are both divisive here. It depends on what you prefer. I tend to go a bit higher than that for me. Yeah, I don't watch these shows. I don't watch these shows to see Michael Cole eating Pizza Hut on. Yeah, yeah. No, it's very forced because it's treated like it's within kayfabe as well, which makes it even worse. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly. I mean, AEW does do it a bit too with the DraftKings. They get oh oh yeah, I do remember that. They got very they tried to be very thematically deep with that because they had the dragon versus the dragon. What was it? What was it? So they had Brian Danielson and Daniel Garcia, who were both considered dragons. Then you got Ricky Steamboat as well, and there was a lot of like there was like they did they did like dragon suplexes and dragon tamers and all that sort of things. But with the DraftKings ads, they have Matt Menard and Angelo Parker doing those in kayfabe. Anyway, I don't watch these shows to watch Michael Cole eat Pizza Hut. No, thank you. Yeah. So we had this. Okay, I think I have a massive beef with this match. The LWO versus the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley. I don't think this makes sense because I don't understand why Carl. Yeah. So if that, if yeah, but so yeah. So firstly, I don't understand why he didn't come out to help them throughout the whole match. That doesn't make sense to me at all. Yeah. Secondly, I think Carlito's new theme song sucks, and I miss his old one. And also because his old theme was fucking brilliant. It was like I spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool. Yeah. Well, because I remember when he came out at Backlash, they cut out the intro bit because apparently it's not PG or whatever. Yeah, they just cut. Yeah, they cut that out in the Backlash version, and they nah nah it didn't. They didn't have that in it. It was just the beat. It's a great theme, but yeah, no, it's trash, and it doesn't suit his character at all. Yeah, Def Rebel are extremely hit and miss. They make some really good stuff and they make some really terrible stuff. Yep. Yep. Well, I know it's homogenized, but the original Imperium theme from NXT UK was awesome. Gunter. And obviously, like Karrion Kross's Dead Silent theme is amazing, but then some of the other ones, like I think it was one of Shayna Baszler's themes, was just so terrible. I think she has a remix version, yeah. One thing I've noticed as well, Death Rebel uses a lot of very plasticky, fake sounding instruments. Like the Jey Uso single theme it's so just, it doesn't sound right. It doesn't have the same oomph to it that the CFO version did. It just sounds really like everything's a big mess. It doesn't feel the difference is that when I listen, a lot of the songs that were made by CFOs, they actually sounded like everything was mixed in a way where it was cohesive. Yeah, my main issue with CFOs is the songs are just too short. Yeah, they were just loops, whereas Jim Johnston would actually do full songs. Jim Johnston would write an actual, like, something that you could listen to on the radio. I just think the booking is just ridiculous. It's like obviously the athleticism was fine because these guys, all the guys in the match are really good at their job, but I just think the booking was atrocious. I just don't agree with it. This also did nothing to get the heel guys over either. Yeah, because I've always wanted to see what the Street Profits could be like as heels, and now they are. Yeah. Yeah, I just thought this was kind of lame, to be honest. They could have done way better. Pretty mediocre effort. Not a terrible match by any means, because it only, it didn't get everything wrong. It only got like the booking part of it wrong, really. And obviously, there's been much worse matches, much worse. But yeah, I was really disappointed by this one, because I just want to like emphasize when we go back to like 2004, Carlito was so good as like as a mid card act. He had so much charisma. His, yeah, I mean to be fair, he's always been better as a heel anyway. But even as a babyface, he just has that ability to charm an audience, and they're making him so bland. They've taken away a lot of the things that are unique about him, and he's just sort of, I don't know. I guess that they have an opportunity to do something, but I don't know. I feel like he's not being served right here. Yeah. Obviously got a massive pop at Backlash, and that was great, but I don't know. I miss the cult leader that hired some guy to stab John Cena in a nightclub. That's the cult leader I liked. You know what cool is? You're looking at it. Yeah. I even really like the promo he did on Cena in like 2009. Where he's like, nobody back here wants to see you as champion anymore. We're sick of John Cena. You don't like my hat? You don't like my shirt? But yeah, I don't have much more to say about this. This was a bit of a bust. Yep. Then let's go forward. Oh, the fucking Michael Cole eating pizza. No, don't care. Then we had something to actually be really excited about. We had Jade Cargill hop out of a car, big car, shake hands with Triple H, and walk away, which was something that they also repeated on NXT with Shawn Michaels, and also on SmackDown with Charlotte. She is being positioned as a massive, massive deal, and she is a massive deal. Yep. And WWE are being rightfully smug for snatching up one of AEW's top women's stars. Yeah. I can only imagine the salary she's earning now, because I know that Tony Khan offered her a lot. Tony Khan offered her a lot of money and she said no. So yeah, Jade Cargill is incoming, and I very much looking forward to seeing what WWE do with her, because she's ripe for the top tier, I would say. And I think the WWE Women's Division having a breath of fresh air would be a fantastic idea. Where she will end up, I don't know. But right now, if you look at her last match with Chris Statlander, she's the best she's ever been. Yep. Now I am interested to see what her style is going to be like now that she's in a WWE ring, because they do have to change their style a bit to fit the product, but we'll see. I mean, if the rumors are true about Endeavor knighting Triple H 99% creative control, and Vince is very much out of the picture, I could see Jade being given a bit more leeway. But that said, she doesn't exactly have that much of an unorthodox style anyway. She's quite a mainstream wrestler in the ring as it is. So she'll probably transition well. I the one thing though that they need to get right, and I do not have faith in Def Rebel with this. The Mikey Ruckus Jade Cargill theme is so good, and it's perfect for her character, and I'm concerned that the WWE version of her theme is not going to be as good. Because it's going to be so weird for Jade Cargill to come to the ring and for it to not be that theme song. A storm is coming. And that big, guitar solo. It was just so perfect for her. Yeah. Let's hope that she ends up on the good side of Def Rebel and not the bad side, because that would be disappointing. One of the most important things about her presentation is her entrance. And it always has been very crucial. Because you remember when the first time I ever saw Jade Cargill was when I watched Rampage: The First Dance, when CM Punk debuted in AEW. And I remember we saw her entrance and we were like, Jesus Christ, she's jacked. And that entrance was so striking visually, and also with that music, that it instantly set the tone for who she was. So, yeah, I hope that they can come up with something good for her entrance. Yep. Anyway, speaking of women, we have a triple threat match for the WWE Women's Championship. As a response to last pay-per-view, they had Rhea versus Raquel. This time we had Io Sky versus Asuka and Charlotte Flair in a triple threat match. Yeah, you give your thoughts. I've blabbered on. Uh-huh. Yeah, Charlotte just feels very out of place in this match. She doesn't fit in this story at all. Her style is so it's very it kind of just clashes with what everything else that's happening with Io and Asuka. Yeah. They did do something interesting at the start of the match, though. They had Asuka green mist her at the very start of the match, and Charlotte had to get her eyes tended to in kayfabe. And that kind of gave us a one-on-one for a bit until Charlotte came back. Charlotte, as a character, is also a strange babyface as well. She has a... Yeah, she's odd because she's very easily dislikable. But she's also trying to garner sympathy, but she can't really get it. And then you've got Asuka, who's actually a heel, but she's just really cool. And then you've got Io, who's kind of a tweener, where she's in a heel group, but she's the babyface of them. And it's like you have Bayley, who is an actual heel, who is helping her cheat, but Io is not really asking for it. It's sort of, yeah, it's I liked what they're doing with damage control. I think there's something there. But the Charlotte element of it just felt very out of place. I couldn't really get behind it. It was an odd thing. And it almost just feels like that Charlotte is active, they want to give her something to do, so they just put it in this match. Yeah. But unlike a year ago, Damage Control are actually getting wins, so at least it's something. And it's just like, I see Charlotte after the match sobbing at ringside, and I'm just like, I don't care. I'm sorry, I don't care. What? Yeah. You know, I think I heard recently Ric Flair say something on Chris Van Vliet's interview thing, where he said Charlotte winning her 17th title and having him and John Cena come out to congratulate her would be like the biggest ratings mover of the last decade. And I'm like, I don't think so. I don't think people are that invested in her. Yeah. In terms of this year, the match she had with Rhea Ripley was great, but apart from that, I don't have much positive to say about Charlotte. I guess she had that one promo with Bianca before SummerSlam that was quite interesting because it was a change of pace. But you know, I just Charlotte is just she's so stale. Yeah. And it just seems like they're very much just they're writing off firstly her presentation, her athleticism, but then also just her name value, really. Then we had Pat McAfee come out for a surprise. Yeah. Yeah, that seems to be like what everyone says at the moment. You know, I think this might be a bit of a hot take about Pat McAfee, right? I think I like the guy, but I don't like how much WWE is obsessed with him. I've always found WWE's obsession with Pat McAfee to be strange. Like they get really excited about him because he's got some kind of connection with people that they don't have. Like when Pat McAfee was in NXT, he was really cool. I liked him around that. Yeah, he fit in well, but then once it became this thing where it's like he's Michael Cole's best friend and he's the most excited. He's the most excited man on earth. And I don't find him dislikable. I just find the presentation weird. Yeah. I think he gets away with it because he's a likable person. But they are really testing the limits with him. And they probably want to hype him up as some kind of attraction because he's not really around anymore. But I feel like if I was to make a comparison, it's not a direct comparison, but if I were to make a comparison about how a company presents someone like him, that I really like is the way that AEW presents Nigel McGuinness. Because Nigel McGuinness doesn't get all this fanfare and all this like pizzazz and wow, look who it is, it's Nigel. They don't do that. They just let him be him, and I think that works a lot better. You know, that kind of that thing of yeah, he's playing a heel commentator, but there's this respect he has with the crowd. And when he announced the Wembley numbers, which obviously they're not consistent with his turnstile numbers, but when he announced the Wembley numbers, it just I feel like if it was WWE and it was Pat McAfee, they would have made this massive, explosive celebration about it, and I don't think that's necessary. And like Michael Cole is such a massive mark for Pat McAfee. Remember at the Royal Rumble when he's like, "Oh my God, you didn't tell me he was gonna be on this show." That's it. I will say, when Pat McAfee did his podcast with Vince McMahon, it was very good. He did not go easy on him at all. He just and he was just like, so tell me about all these layoffs and these releases you're doing, Vince. And he's just like, so what do you think about AEW? What do you think about all your wrestlers going to AEW? He's just like, we're sending some more. And then, of course, Pat McAfee, who is the most hyped up commentator, comes out to announce the most hyped up wrestler in WWE, and that is who they claim to be the greatest of all time, Mr. John Cena. Stays with his commitments that he's made because of the strikes. John Cena comes out to have a tag team match with LA Knight against the bloodline of Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa. Funnily enough, the duration of this match was exactly the same as the women's match. 17 minutes, 20 seconds. Yep, they were identical. I think it's fair to say that Cena and LA Knight probably got the loudest pops on the show. Yeah. It is weird watching a show where Cena doesn't get booed and doesn't get like the John Cena sucks chance anymore. Yeah. seems like the WWE audience are very much in favor of Cena these days. Do you think it's because WWE's told them so many times that he's the greatest that they actually believe it now? Well, I was part of that, and I didn't like him. No, I was a CM Punk fan. Yeah, probably. A lot of the people chanting Cena sucks are probably AEW fans now, to be honest. That's an assumption I've made, but I can't prove it, but it's possible. But I also think just because he's not around as much anymore, he's not really shoved in your face as much. Yeah, and you know he's put over a lot of guys from like 2015 to 2018. As she put over a lot of guys. And he did his big shooty promo on the big dog, and that won a lot of people over. Yeah, and also I would actually say probably the Firefly Funhouse match with the Fiend probably helped a lot too, because it was very self-aware. And also, a lot of Cena's output lately has been in films and acting, and he's actually really good at that. Yeah, I know. It's weird, eh? Remember how he would get...
Ages himself. It's just very strange.
I just realized that I don't think I had your audio on the stream, so I've just turned your audio on now.
Oh, God's sake.
Oh, well, it's working now.
Oh, fucking hell. God, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Oh, well, it works now. Yeah. He's very... His fundamentals are very sloppy at times.
Mm-hmm.
Unless he's doing something that requires, like, you know, lifting a lot of weight on his shoulders. That's when he's actually capable, because that's what he's good at, lifting a lot of weight. But in terms of fluidity and motion, it's fucking hell. Some of his stuff is really, really tacky. Like, I remember there was one time he did a like, I'm trying to remember which one I'm trying to think of, because there's quite a few examples. But do you remember when he used to try and do that that summer, what was it called, the sunset flip powerbomb? And the timing would always be off when he did it.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, the same thing with when he used to do a Hurricane Rana, he would just powerbomb himself. And then the springboard stunner, he could barely catch their head above his shoulder. And there was one time, I remember, I think it was in 2010, he did the 5-knuckle shuffle, and his fist was like half a foot away from their head. Yeah, there's a few. Oh, and I've talked at length before about his STF. It just looks ridiculous.
Not good. You know, he done it right once.
Yes, there was that one. Well, I mean, in terms of normal match, yes, he did it. He did that one against Brock in 2014. That was actually really good.
Yeah, well, he did one against Rusev with a chain.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is that he gets it right in a hardcore match. I think the best one is the one he did to Umaga, because he did it with the actual ring rope. That was fucking horrible. Like, he wrapped the rope around Umaga's neck, because he basically took it out of the post, and he wrapped the rope around his neck and choked him with it. It was brutal. But yeah, this match was very much sort of, I guess you could say, let's continue LA Knight's momentum match, and they tied it
Yep,
into
and
the
get him a really big win.
yeah, and they tied it into the Bloodline. Obviously, Cena's had feuds with the Bloodline before.
Yes.
This match gave us Cena's sort of first face to face with Solo Sikoa, because the last time Cena faced the Bloodline, Solo Sikoa wasn't part of it.
No. Yeah, I think this match was very much let's get Knight, and this was a fucking really long match. This was very long, just let's beat up Cena. LA Knight gets hot tag, and that's that.
Yeah, they kind of just had to do that because Cena's apparently is very limited in ring these days. He can't do that much.
Oh, definitely, you can tell.
His
I don't think
condition,
it's
his
that
conditioning is just
unobvious.
not the same as it was.
No, it just just that's just the case, really.
Yep. He also seemingly doesn't spray tan anymore either, because he's looking really pale. I remember he looked like in 2008. He looked like that at the start of 2008 because they had just changed to HD when he came back from his injury, and
Mhm.
he looked completely different to what he did in 2007
Yeah,
because he
I get what you mean. Yeah.
because he had that pectoral tear when he botched the arm drag. But yeah, I just
Yeah.
think it's really sad to see how far the bloodline has fallen in the last few months.
Yeah, it's really hit a really bad run of form.
Yep. And yeah, I guess if I were to make compliments about this match, I thought Solo Sikoa was really good, and I thought LA Knight was really good, and that's about it.
Yeah,
And obviously Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman's always great. His ringside acting is fun.
definitely.
I
I would say so.
yeah, I do also think it's a bit weird that you had Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso in the same building for this show, and they made no mention of it.
Yeah. Thankfully, they obviously referenced them on SmackDown. They obviously they walk past each other, so at least
Yeah,
that's something.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But LA Knight's mega
but
over.
yeah, he is, and I feel like as we've seen on SmackDown last night, putting him in a program with Roman for Crown Jewel, I feel like is probably the smart thing to do. He's not going to win, but I feel like it's probably the best way to go.
Yeah,
You
it's
know, get Knight in a match, you know, with Roman, and just make it a good program. You know.
but also you gotta like what baby faces at the top of the card are left for Roman to face at this point. He's demolished
Yeah,
all of them.
literally just Knight at this moment in time.
I mean, if it's not LA Knight, you've got to turn a heel baby face. You'd have to do that.
Yeah.
And you know, I guess because the Saudis always want Roman Reigns on the card, he's got to have a match. I suspected that. I mean, I don't know how viable this is, but I would have thought at some point they would have done Roman versus Bad Bunny. But
Uh, hmm.
I'm not sure how
I'm not sure. I'm not
because
sure on that
I mean
one.
last Crown Jewel they did Roman versus Logan Paul, but I suppose Paul is seen as a bit more of a threat.
But yeah, seemingly.
Some people actually thought Paul was going to win the title. Fucking hell, that we're gonna imagine if instead of Cody finishing the story, it was Logan Paul. That would have gotten so much hate. Yeah, but yeah, this was just. Oh, I don't know. I've been very very blasé about WWE since SummerSlam.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say so. I'd agree.
I was quite pumped about them at the start of the year during in the road to WrestleMania. I thought they were good, doing some really good stuff around then, especially in the main event scene. And they had a good run of pay-per-views after that, and then it seems like ever since SummerSlam, there's just been this weird cold period for them.
A little bit. It feels like that a little bit.
Yeah, and yeah, it seems like there's way more exciting things going on in AEW right now, ever since All In.
Yeah.
Even with the strikes, and with Cena and with The Rock and all that stuff going on, it still feels like WWE's core of its substance is very. Apart from NXT, obviously NXT's getting quite a bit of attention, but in terms of the main roster, Raw and SmackDown, it just feels very stale.
Mm-hmm. Definitely an element of that.
Yeah. But, there's always hope, I suppose.
Always hope.
Yeah. Hopefully, when we get to, like, sort of Survivor Series time, it'll actually start to pick up again.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Mm-hmm. Especially with War Games.
War Games.
Bloody War Games.
Fucking War Games.
Yeah. So, yeah, Cena passes the torch to LA Knight. And, yeah, that's that, really.
Yeah, that match. It's really fucking long.
Yep. There was a backstage segment with the Judgment Day after they've lost the belts.
Yeah, Rhea takes away Priest's Money in the Bank briefcase, which was I thought was quite surprising because when they lost the belts, I thought, okay, he's cashing in tonight. I generally thought that when they lost the belts.
Mm-hmm.
So that was quite surprising.
Yep. And then I suppose we have our main event.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yes, yeah, it is the main event. Yeah, the only singles match on the actual show.
We have Seth freaking Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura in a last man standing match. Nakamura got a really good entrance for this one, I will say. That awesome white attire.
Yes.
And Rollins was in some very extravagant gear. As they usually do with Triple H PLEs, they made a big deal of announcing the start of the match. So, the presentation was all fine and dandy. And then we got the match, which was 28 minutes and 25 seconds. It was a long match.
Quite a long match indeed.
Now, I mentioned on the predictions that a last man standing match is quite a challenging stipulation to get right. There's been a lot of cases where it can definitely drag on. I feel like they definitely tried to make the most of what they could do with it, to some extent. I would say there was some fairly unique moments, like when Shinsuke used nunchucks. That was quite good. And they continue the story of him targeting the back, but I feel like the heat around that isn't quite as it's not quite as good as it was leading into the payback match. It's not as fresh. It seems very hashed out now.
No, but I think this match was quite good.
Yeah, probably the best match on the card.
I would probably say so because I think this for a last man standing match as well, which can be quite hit and miss at times. I thought this actually was a quite effective match.
Yeah, it was. I think they did a really solid job with it. I don't think this is like a classic or anything, but I definitely think it would call
I don't think so.
Call it a solid match. It was good. It was good enough to be a pay-per-view main event on a B show. There was
Mm.
one point where there was a very obvious crash landing pad, and that kind of broke kayfabe a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not unheard of. Lest we forget the first Blood and Guts match.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I thought this was really cool. I thought there was some really good spots in this. I thought the actual commentary for this match was pretty good in terms of selling Seth's like unwillingness to give up. It's not this. It doesn't feel too Super Cena to me. I feel like that's the sort of fear with this kind of match. It doesn't feel super Super Cena to me.
Yeah, it felt fairly balanced. It wasn't too much.
I thought so. Yeah,
What
think Shinsuke looked good. I think I don't know how he's gonna do post this feud, which is now seemingly over. So that's sort of my fear because trying to be consistent with WWE with these kind of challenges post feuds is always their weak points. But yeah, I thought this match was a good way to end the feud, which has been relatively cold, unfortunately.
Yeah. How do we feel about both Asuka and Shinsuke doing Mist on the same show?
I'm not that bothered about it. I thought that the one, if I remember correctly, the mist for the for Asuka, the coloring wasn't there or something. If I'm remembering correctly,
Asuka's Mist is green, whereas Shinsuke's is red.
but I don't think it was green.
No, it's
Unless
green.
I remember badly.
It's green.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
I remember it being looking weird.
Charlotte had green at the front of her hair for that match.
Mm.
I suppose it's a Japanese thing after all.
Mm.
It was funny though because it was red mist, it looked like Rollins was bleeding, but he wasn't.
Mm. Yeah, I thought this, and the one thing I would say, this probably was the ideal way to cash in. I don't know if you're gonna get like him going for a last man standing match, it being no DQ, him being absolutely brutalized, pretty much. I don't know. Maybe they've got something future planned. I thought there was a really good suggestion on Russell Talk where the way to get Cody the most adversity, and it actually feel like it's a quite creative idea, is having him not winning the Rumble, him not winning the Elimination Chamber, but his last opportunity is winning the briefcase and winning it, and then announcing he's cashing in at WrestleMania. I don't hate the idea. I feel like there's an idea there that could be executed quite well, but I don't think they're going to do that.
Well, the only way that would work is if the winner of the Royal Rumble chooses to face the World Heavyweight Champion.
Yes. Which, if it was someone like Gunther and he had just lost his Intercontinental Championship, that actually probably would be the one to make the most sense if it was Gunther to go after the World Heavyweight Championship, because that feels a bit more. Even the Undisputed feels a lot more suited for someone like Cody, a lot more like sports entertainment person. World Heavyweight Championship, just something about it and the way that it's sort of being built up as a workhorse title, world title. Gunther making that his option, I feel like makes sense, and I feel like it doesn't feel silly to me.
Well, I mean, I was gonna say I always thought of it, the big gold belt, as a workhorse horse world title, but then I remembered that people like the Great Khali and Jack Swagger and David Arquette
Oh no,
and
of
Vince
course.
Russo had it.
Yeah, they fucked up many times. There's no getting around that. But Gunther winning the Royal Rumble and going after the world title, and it being, if it's still on Seth by Mania, that's probably the one thing that's like, can we really hold out for another 5 months of this? Maybe if they give us 2 really good filler feuds that are like,
I'm just
like who, obviously he's facing Drew at Crown Jewel, so maybe if they can, do, but then that would be another person turning heel on Seth, and they just did that with Shinsuke.
I've
I don't know.
I'm very neutral on Seth at the moment.
Yeah,
There's
I feel like
positives
they
and
have
there's
not.
negatives.
There's something weird about it where it was clearly the right choice even before the tournament was like the people in the tournament were like announced. Everyone was gunning for Seth to be world champion because it makes sense. He was the one character who was probably the most credible at the time. But ever since he's won it, I think everyone's been aching for him to lose it, which there's something about it that doesn't seem right to me. I can't put my finger on it why, and I don't think it's just because the feuds have not been up to snuff. I think other than moments, there've been good moments here and there, but there's something strange about everyone being so ready for him to drop the belt, and I think it might be is the fact because Seth is such a clear main eventer in terms of his credibility and how he's presented.
Hmm.
It feels like he's not elevating the belt in a way, and it doesn't feel special because Seth is Seth. And if you would put it on someone like Shinsuke, to put it on someone like Gunter, to put it on someone like who's an up and comer on Raw, who's like on that sort of like if it was Priest, then the belt would feel a lot more important because it's someone different, it's someone new, it's someone who is up and coming in terms of rising to the main event scene, and then that would maybe elevate the belt along with the feuds being good. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
yeah, I am. I mean, I can only speak from my own personal experience over the
Yeah.
years. Is that I've just have a lot of fatigue with Seth Rollins. In that, like around that 2014 to 2016 time,
I'm just
he was
not a
one.
fan of this version of Seth, and I think that's a bit another reason why. I think the song has become so much of his character, which has been a bit strange. No, it's like, yeah, all the crowd chiming, and they weren't even that loud. I could very much tell that they boosted the volume when they were doing it.
Yeah, yeah.
When the crowd, like, obviously there was a reaction, but you could tell the volume was boosted up. Um, yeah, it feels like they should really be going, not regressing, but I feel like there's a way for him to go back to his sort of 2014, 2015 character. Not if it's necessarily like the way he wrestled, because he obviously wrestles very differently because of his knee injury he had. But it feels like the Architect is a character that was so. I feel like when he came back, there was so much missed opportunity for him to reinvent that character in a way that's fresh, but still harking back to it. And it feels like that's what's missing from him. It's a really he's more wacky than he's ever been, and it's sort of like when they try to do stuff that's serious, even if the content is good, the character is still Seth right now. He's still, the visionary, the revolutionary.
Yeah, I mean, like I was gonna say, 2014 to 2016, he was one of my favorites. I was a big
Yeah,
fan
oh
of
yeah,
him.
because I feel like the character was very consistent in terms
Yeah.
of his heel work and then eventual natural turn to turn babyface, which he didn't do when he came back from injury.
Yeah. It was around the time he had that feud with Triple H. I was just something happened around then when it was just like he's not one of my favorites anymore. And then slowly
I
over
think it was
time,
more for me. It was more the Universal title reign, I think, and the Twitter stuff. I think that really soured on him
oh
at
yeah,
that around that point, and what
oh yeah,
forced
no,
him to turn heel.
that's when it became bad. I'm just talking about my
Mm.
peak interest was lost because it felt like the Triple H feud happened 1 year too late. And the reason why it happened that way is because Seth got injured, and so
Yeah.
he couldn't face Triple H at 32. He had to face him at 33. And by the time it got to 33, it just felt like it had
Well,
run its
with
course.
33, it was with 33. I think the main event scene of Raw was just Jericho, Kevin Owens, Roman, and Seth, and that was it. And that
Brock
was
and
just that
Goldberg
for
as
like
well.
six. Well, that was even then that was for like rare episodes. Though those four were pretty much the main event every single week for like 6 months. I remember.
Yeah.
Trust me, I remember very well because I was watching every week.
Oh, I was too.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was. I mean, I wasn't the biggest Raw fan from around that time. I was more just
No,
SmackDown.
that was when SmackDown was really good. Yeah, SmackDown
Yeah.
was really good in 2016.
Yeah, it was yeah. I think it was when AJ Styles came in that
Yeah.
Seth Rollins lost his golden spot with me.
Possibly, yeah.
But also then again he was injured when AJ came in and he came back
Yes.
to face Roman, and I was really into that for a bit.
But then they kept him heel for some reason, even though he was not his natural babyface at that point.
And he
really.
had that weird tweener phase where he transitioned and it was just so drawn out.
It was, yeah.
He was feuding with Corporate Kane and all that crap. Yeah, it's very strange because when the Shield broke up, he was my favorite of the Shield, and now in 2023, he's actually my least favorite of the three. In terms of where we are currently, I much prefer Moxley and Roman Reigns over Seth Rollins these days.
Oh yeah, easily.
Yeah, I mean Moxley in AW is just an absolute star. He's great matches, great promos, great storylines for the most part. Very little negative to say about that. And then with Reigns, he's not my favorite in-ring performer ever or anything, but his tribal chief character has been very interesting ever since he turned heel for the most part. I think some of the Brock feuds have been a bit repetitive, but it hasn't been perfect or anything. But there's a lot to like about Reigns' character. It's very captivating, whereas I find Seth to be very lacking in that department. He has a strong presentation in some respects, but I don't find that there's not that much to invest in his character. This is one of the reasons why I really liked when Shinsuke cut that promo about his back leading into Payback, because it was they actually do something unique with it. It's the same thing of when he had the Finn Balor match at SummerSlam. He harkened back to 2016 and we got shades of that old character again. And it's things like, I think one of the best things he's done with this modern character is when he faced Roman and he came out with the Shield gear and the music. That was actually really cool.
Yeah, that's character based, and that was really interesting.
Yeah, but it's all the best stuff with him it's all harkening back to that period of time from the Shield days up until about 2016 when he was in his prime. And I just think since then he's just not been the same for me.
No, yeah.
And, Shinsuke Nakamura, his peak for me was New Japan and NXT. On the main roster, he's just not the same. I mean, probably doesn't help that very early in his run, he lost to Jinder Mahal at SummerSlam, which really did not help him at all. And then he gained favor back when he won the Royal Rumble, and then he had that match with AJ, and it wasn't as good as everyone thought it was going to be, and he lost it. And then ever since then, he's never been the same, really. Yep. If anyone wants to see the real Shinsuke, watch Nakamura versus Bushi from Wrestle Kingdom 9. That match is banger. Absolute banger. And his match with AJ from Wrestle Kingdom 10. Oh, that right there is the King of Strong Style. And then, of course, there was the match he had with Sami Zayn when he first came to NXT. That was great, too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. But no, I don't know much more to say about this pay-per-view. It was very fine.
Yeah, I would say just above average. It's probably for me, I'd probably give it a 5.5 out of 10.
Yeah, my biggest criticism is how they handled the Carlito stuff. That really pissed me off. And my biggest praise is probably, I guess, LA Knight's presentation, Jade Cargill's presentation. I mean, the highlight of the night was the press conference with Cody and Jey Uso. That was the whole
Oh,
reason to watch. That was absolutely brilliant. So yeah, that's all I got to say really.
That's all I've got to say about that.
That's all I got to say about that. And then I believe the next pay-per-view is Crown Jewel. Like
Yes, it is.
Crown Jewel comes before Full Gear. So yeah, Crown Jewel. By the time we do Crown Jewel, I'll be in my new house.
Well, I'm going to London to watch Crown Jewel live in a pub again, so that'll be fun.
Oh, there we go. So yeah, we'll have predictions for Crown Jewel and a review, probably both live because, advent calendar reasons. Full Gear and Survivor Series bloody hell in November is going to be busy because we've also got on the other channel we've also got the 60th anniversary coming up in November. And of course the advent calendar in December.
Probably less than a month away, considering the reports are it's not coming out on the 23rd.
Yeah.
I hope so, because I am off work for 2 weeks for the first 2 weeks in November, so that would be pretty ideal if it came out during that time for me.
Yeah.
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 I hope so.
Yeah. Anyway, so hope you enjoyed having Callum's audio for only the second half of the stream. I can't believe I fucked that up again.
Yeah, that's another one.
Yeah. Absolute bollocks. Yeah, so have fun. Goodbye. And what was that? Oh my god, my brain is fucked. My brain is so it's so zazzed. It's so zazzed. I bid you adieu. I bid you adieu. A good night. Mwah.